What is the crack, everyone? B2B Sports, episode 7, I think. We are back. Sammy's here. Standard procedure.
Correct.
Standard crack. Let's kick off straight into it with a bit of football. We'll recap some of the last weekend's Premier League results. We'll get this straight out the way. Brighton 4, Chelsea 1. On to the next.
I don't think we need to. I think it's being a bit too quickly there. Like, what has happened here?
I actually don't have a clue. I actually watched the game. Mate, we just got dominated, man. They were just on us, on our ass, mate.
How
High
did you
press.
let that happen?
No idea. We didn't have any time on the ball. Credit where it's due. Brighton were very decent, and Trossard, absolute baller. To be fair to him,
Bitch.
they did, mate. And
How did Chelsea even get one?
what was that?
How did Chelsea even get one?
No idea, mate. I was actually really surprised how they played. I thought Brighton would go downhill since they lost Potter, but this
Yeah.
new guy that's come in, Mr. Goatee Man, whatever his name is, just got a goatee. Yeah, he's playing good football, to be fair, and we had no answer, and it was written in the stars. Of course, it was, weren't it? Potter back at Brighton, and yeah, we had no answer. It's just written, absolutely written. Arsenal won 5-0 against Nottingham Forest. Every game week, they're proving that they are a more and more title contender for sure.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's still not in Forest. They're not. They're like bottom of the table.
Bro,
Near bottom of the table.
Liverpool lost them
They did.
the
They
week
did.
before that.
Liverpool are also like ninth.
Yeah. We'll move on to Liverpool as well. They had another loss, this time at home. Lost to Leeds 2-1. Well surprised by that one.
Yeah, very. I mean, Jesse Marsh having a whale of time on the touchline.
Mate, he's
Nice
so
little dance.
dramatic, isn't he? He loves it.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. Yeah, I didn't see Leeds getting a win there any day of the week. Somehow pulled out of the bag. I still can't believe it really. But
No,
that's kind of the way Liverpool season's going. They're just not playing well.
up and down, isn't it?
Absolutely awful.
Newcastle battered Villa 4-0. I mean, we talked about it last week about Villa on a bit of an uptick after they got rid of Gerrard and then get absolutely slapped. Almiron continues his goal scoring.
Yeah, honestly, Jack Grealish is quaking in his boots right now.
Honestly,
Almiron's playing Ballon d'Or level football.
I was tempted to stick him in the old fantasy team, but I
Haven't made any changes yet.
went with Trossard instead.
I've still got Haaland, who still might not play.
Oh,
I
mate.
don't know what to risk it. I scored relatively okay last week, but Anthony's also not in my he's injured. Might take him out. So yeah, it's not going too well.
Haaland, what is he? I think Pep teased a little bit today that he's back in training, isn't he? But
Yeah.
what? This is Pep we're talking about. You know what I mean? Like, is he going to get any game time? I have no idea.
I hope so. He didn't play in the Champions League.
No, he didn't. That's right.
Fingers crossed.
Mm-hmm.
He'll play. It'll be a shame for him to be plagued by injuries. I mean, he has been in his career, so it'd just be a shame, especially when he started.
He's got a bit of a reputation, hasn't he, for injuries, rolling him out for large periods of the season. At Dortmund, he had quite a few. But yeah, we'll see what happens. And then Man United got a decent win at home to West Ham. They're in a bit of form at the minute, Sam.
Actually, I'm happy we climb above Chelsea in the table.
You do. I don't know how like you just crept up on us. Like, I don't know where that's coming from.
A nice run of form. A good ground out win against a West Ham team that we normally struggle against.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, very very happy with that result.
I was listening to a little bit of the Corridor Uncertainty podcast earlier, and they've got like a new segment on their podcast about love it or hate it, and they discussed Anthony and his little spin move. What are your thoughts on his little spin move? I think he did one in the week, was it last week? And he sort of passed the ball completely out of play. Like, Are you all for it, or are you a bit against it?
I don't mind it. I mean, it's a bit of showboating. Who doesn't like a bit of showboat? It's funny when it goes wrong. He did a few spins. It was a through ball that obviously was weighted wrong, but it was still a good attacking through ball. Um, so I got no real problems with it
I was
personally.
I was seeing a lot of people saying like you weren't complaining when Ronaldinho was like doing step overs and
Exactly.
like like I think people like you said people don't question it when it's going right, but when it
Yeah.
falls flat on its face, that's when you're gonna get a bit of banter. Was it
Um,
unnecessary? You can argue a little bit, but you don't want the league to become placid and boring either. So um,
exactly. And United's play has been placid and boring for a couple of years, so it's nice to see some of our players have a bit of something about them.
it's like a Panenka penalty, isn't it? Like if you score it, happy days. But if you miss it, you look like a tit.
An
So,
absolute idiot. Yeah. So
um,
I think I don't mind it. I know a lot of people have bad views on it, thinking it's kind of what's the point? It's just stupid making the team, the club look silly. But I think at the end of the day, they're there to entertain.
it's true. Yeah, it is true.
Mhm.
It is
It
true.
is entertaining, so I'll take it.
We'll move on to a bit of Champions League. There was some midweek action. Chelsea won 2-1 against Dynamo Zagreb. Pretty standard. Um, Sakara scored on his debut, which was I'll take that in midfield
Yeah,
all day long. Um, Bit of bad news to come out of that game though. Chilwell, hamstring injury. We've seen way too many players fall down with big injuries just before the World Cup. Like,
yeah,
mate, I've got a list here that are either out. These players are out or doubtful. So you've
yeah.
got Timo Werner, Reece James, Chilwell, Son, Pogba, Jota, Carl Walker, Lukaku, Di Maria, Dybala, Calvin Phillips, Kante, and the list probably goes on and on and on. Um,
Jesus.
like it, the World Cup's already got a enough stick, and rightly so for the mid-season sort of
Right.
fixtures, fixture list, and the moral issues of the World Cup, but like you're just going to see more of these injuries. Like a player's going to want to go into these last couple of games 100%.
I think
It's
it's difficult because normally we're having a go it's always at the end of the season. They've got to play like throughout the summer, and that leads to more injuries. At this point, it's mid-season. Like these injuries shouldn't be quite this often.
mm,
Like there should be kind of peak levels. They've just started a new season. Didn't really have anything during the summer in terms of internationally. Um, it's weird. I think it's normal wear and tear from a season, and having it in the middle means that they can rest a lot for the end of the season. So the end of the season might be a bit more tasty. But yeah, it's weird that it's happening. I suppose you never really take notice of injuries during the season when they're just playing kind of week in, week out.
I suppose so. That's a good point. It's more emphasis on injuries at this point because of the World Cup,
Yeah,
whereas usually you wouldn't. But again, on the flip side of that, are we getting a more congested fixture period because of the World Cup? Where there's more bunched up games at this point in the season than would usually be because
yeah.
they're having a month off. Um, but it's just a shame, man. There's so many players going down with injuries. You want the best of the best there. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, and that will be a shame if well, as you say, a lot of people aren't going to be there.
I heard the little rumor today that Reece James is ahead of his rehab. He's in Dubai at the moment. He's ahead of his
Mm.
rehab, so there's a chance that he could make it into the squad, which that's a big risk if Southgate picks him.
Yeah,
Potentially do more damage to that knee if he does go. But when did the squads get released? I know he's picked his
yeah, no
55.
idea.
Yeah, I'd
No,
imagine
it's
it's pretty.
55. It must be because what is it? Just end of. They've only got like 3 weeks until it
Yeah,
starts,
it's so super close
so it
now.
must be soon, at least 2 weeks before, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Yeah, going back to Champions League, Højbjerg scored a last minute goal to get Tottenham the win. Scenes in Marseille, do you see it? The flares, everything going on.
I love it.
Marseille, absolutely mad fans they are. So fair play Tottenham, got themselves out of a bit of a hole. Rangers were officially confirmed the worst team in Champions League history.
in history. As it's sad. I mean, they did so well to get there again, and just to lose every single game, it's just a bit. It's just sad. I feel for them. I obviously being in Scotland, there's a lot of Rangers fans, and yeah, it's an absolute shambles. They want Van Bronckhorst gone.
Why?
Um,
Changes like that, doesn't it? You like last
yeah,
season, he was like the dog's bollocks, and now he's
yeah, no, exactly. So it's a. I think because it's gone sour. We're still doing all right in the league, but it's just Rangers and Celtic obviously always in the league, so it's what it's
no
going to always be
competition.
like. So doing something in the Champions League would have been good, but I think that's kind of the nail in the coffin. I think they're going to be against Broncos for the rest of the season just because of that.
It's not looking good for him. Also, a team to watch, Benfica.
Oh yeah,
I actually didn't realise they're on a mad one. 6-1 win in the week. Top of the group with a nine plus 9 goal difference.
yeah,
Pipped PSG to top. They're dangerous, man. I did not expect it. They're a team that you wouldn't want to get in knockout stages. Potential dark horses. They're
yeah.
looking pretty threatening going forward. But mate, you would not want PSG in that next round, would you?
No,
So obviously Chelsea finished top. So you draw the second place teams. I would not want to have PSG, man. Absolutely not. Terrifying.
it's quite funny. I'd take it. I'd like to watch that.
Atletico Madrid in the mud, finished bottom of their group. Scenes, mate.
Oh, they had to. I think they had to score a penalty in their second to last game, in like the last minute to go just to go through as well. And they missed a penalty in like the 95th minute.
Dead in the water. A lot of these European giants are either falling down into the Europa League or getting knocked out.
Yeah,
As we talked about, no Haaland in Man City's win, Man City's game against Sevilla, but no Haaland, no problem. 3-1 win. Um, and then obviously we talked. You gonna have him in the FPL? Sam's still got him in. I've taken him out. So
no, you've like properly taken them out. You don't even have
yeah, I took him out completely.
yeah,
Got
like
Kane in. Kane didn't do me anything last week, so he needs to step up. Tottenham are
that's
just
true.
slipping at the wrong point for me.
Mm.
Although I've heard
It's
that Kulusevski's coming back, so that could
big, and with Sun out, it's going to be Spurs are going. They're still grinding out wins. I mean, they came up from behind this weekend,
yeah,
and
it's
last
true.
minute they won the Champions League the same way, scored a
Mm-hmm.
last minute winner. Um, so they could do all right without Sun, and but yeah, they need. I think Kane needs to get on a scoring horse again.
That Son injury looked nasty. He's like fractured his cheekbone or eye socket or something. It was pretty grim. Um, Europa Leagues. United got second place, Sam. Yeah,
Yeah,
on goal difference.
yeah, on goal difference. It was because we beat Sociedad,
Yes,
and we I think if we'd won 2-0, we'd have been level on goal difference as well. Like it was ridiculously close.
1-0 win, weren't it? I think De Gea made a couple of good saves.
Yeah.
As per. Um, but yeah, decent from United, but just not enough. Roma got the win that they needed against Ludogorets. They were on the way out into the
Mm.
conference league, but they got that win crucially. I don't know if you saw Group F as well. Group F was a madness in the Europa League. Um,
No? Oh, is that
Final,
with final? Yeah.
yeah. So they're all teams finished on 8 points in the end. I think Final were going into this game week. They were bottom with 5 points. I think there was two teams on 8, two teams on 5,
Yeah.
and they got the win. And from third, they finished top in their group. I think there's quite a good meme going on doing the rounds at the minute where it's like call an ambulance, but not for me. Pulls the gun out. But yeah,
That's such a good comeback. I mean, to go from bottom to top that's what dreams are made of.
yeah. Well,
Like,
we talked about it last week. Close groups are the one, and you
yeah.
don't get much closer than
No,
all being on
exactly.
the same points. Um, but yeah, and also PK retired this week, Sam.
Yeah, playing his last game this weekend, apparently.
Well, why is that? Why I was questioning why he's playing his last game at the Bernabeu, the Bernabeu, Jesus Christ, the Camp Nou, sorry, midway through the season. Like
Yeah,
why do you?
I don't get it. He must maybe injured, or but if he's injured, why is he playing? Yeah, I don't get it. I think he's gone a bit of a downward spiral since this whole Shakira business and Gavi's mum. Um, but maybe that's taking a toll, but it seems very odd timing.
It's very really really strange. I know Talk Sports were chatting some more nonsense about saying like
Yeah.
whether PK could be considered a great centre back, and that the reason why he only looked good is because he was in a team with Messi. But I mean, you know, I might be mistaken here, but Messi doesn't do the defending,
No, exactly. So I
so
think that's a bit of a weird statement.
I think that's a
Um,
bit of nonsense.
yeah, I think he's proven himself as a personally a very good defender,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and one of the best in the world at one point in time. So
Yeah,
I don't think he has to thank Messi for being one of the best teams because yeah, Messi they do two very different jobs.
yeah. Um, and then we look forward to the Premier League this weekend. Big game for Chelsea. Chelsea Arsenal Sunday midday kickoff. Aubameyang goal. Aubameyang revenge game. What are you saying?
It would be quite funny. Um, I think that would be quite good to see.
Just
But
does an what's it? Aubameyang. No, what's he called? What's he called? Adebayor. Adebayor
oh
runs
yeah,
runs at the
run
other
a
end.
full length of the pitch for a nice knee slide. That would be
Yeah.
great. Um, I mean, the Chelsea Arsenal games have proven to be pretty good over the last few years. Um, Normally quite a few goals.
Don't
Um,
jinx it, Sam.
quite a few goals yet, 0-0.
Yeah.
Um, so hopefully good big things. I want Gabriel Jesus to score because he's in my fantasy
Classic.
and because it's against Chelsea. So I'll take that very nicely.
It's big game, It's a huge game. It's just something weird about Arsenal being like this good this season. But Chelsea are up and down at the minute. We're not playing our best football, so we'll have to see how it goes. Villa at home to United. Sam, what are you thinking about that one? Do you think you can get a win there?
I think so. With the state Villa in at the moment, I feel confident about that game.
Yeah.
United are playing well at the moment, and as long as Villa don't pull out a masterclass, which I doubt,
No, yeah, it's true.
but again might be jinxing it. Um, but yeah, I think United come away with a win there.
And then the last big game, Spurs Liverpool. That should be a great game on Sunday. That's gonna be tough to call. I can
Spurs
see.
win that.
Think Spurs win. Uh,
Yeah, just fuck Liverpool.
yeah.
That's
Okay,
it.
Spurs win it is. Spurs win it is.
Definitely. Spurs are coming away with a win there.
Let's move on to a bit of NFL because this week was a complete and utter madness. Trade deadline day just went off. Um, where do I even start? I mean, I'll start the Vikings. Vikings got TJ Hawkinson from the Detroit Lions in conference, in division trade.
That's madness. That
I'll take it, mate.
for a great player, that's ridiculous. I don't really know why they did it. It seems a weird, like the Lions could have built around him quite nicely. It's a great take, great steal from the Vikings, to be honest.
Mate,
Um,
top five tight end in the league,
yeah,
arguably. So,
and arguably you need a tight end.
mate, he's so lucky because Irv Smith was, this was meant to be his season.
Hmm.
He's dropped a few catches this year, and he's got a high ankle sprain now. He's out for 8 to 10 weeks supposedly, and like this was just happened like at the weekend. So just swooped right in, took
Fifth,
another
fifth,
tight end, and
fifth best in the league. Yeah, I think that's a great take. And I mean the Vikings are doing ridiculously well this season in general. It's really annoying. Um, yeah, maybe hopefully it's a downwards. They've now got a Lions player on their team. That's a downward spiral from here.
I never understand the idea of blowing up your whole season. That this is meant to be, the season for the Lions to turn it around.
Yeah,
I think they've had the first round, well, one on the first draft pick or the top
one
five
of them.
draft
Yeah,
picks for like the past like 2 or 3 years, but madness to me. Bradley Chubb from the Broncos to Dolphins, mate. That is a pickup and a half, mate.
yeah,
No, that pass rush is it's going to get a bit spicy for the Dolphins now to go with their explosive offense. So
yeah. It's going to be ridiculous.
mm,
I just hope that they do a normal Miami and can just fuck it. But I think they've got the two top receivers in the game at the moment,
yeah, yeah.
yards. So yeah, they're going to be tough to stop.
This is a weird one for me. Chase Claypool, from
Yeah,
the Steelers to the Bears. Oh, what a weird move that is.
yeah. I think that's a bit. I don't really know how to take that one. I feel like he's gone ever so slightly up in his
Mhm.
position because the Steelers don't know what they're doing right now.
No,
They don't have a great defense with TJ Watt out as well. He's gone to the Bears, who also don't seem to know what they're doing. So it's an interesting move that.
Also, mate, Jaguars have got a weapon, not for this season, but next season. Calvin Ridley, they picked up him, but he's suspended for sports betting, so he's out for the whole year, and he'll come back next year. But Trevor Lawrence has a tall, wide receiver, which is what he needs. So
Yeah. No, to be fair, I still think it's ridiculous that he's been banned. He's been suspended for that long anyway.
yeah, he's crazy. That
It's,
long, you
it's
know.
stupid.
Think
I
about some of
don't
the stuff the players have done in terms of
you
abuse.
think about Deshaun Watson and
Yeah,
like
exactly.
it's ridiculous. His accusations are awful and oh, yeah, just it doesn't bear to think about at the
No.
moment. Um, but yeah, good to see Calvin Ridley back in the league, and hopefully blowing up with the Jags, who are doing much better than people thought they'd do
Yeah,
at the moment.
100%. Yeah, 100%. There's one trade that hasn't happened yet that could still happen this year. OBJ. Where do you think he could end up? And
I,
is he
I,
just going to be chasing that ring? Is that what he's
I
going to be
think I
doing?
think so. I don't think he's going to go. He's going to be on the Eagles soon, to be honest.
You
With
think?
their 8-0 for the first time, I think, in their history. Um, yeah, I think he's going to go to the Eagles.
Well, let's talk about the Eagles. 8-0, first time in the history. Although, got a bit of a mad stat. The last 11 teams that started 8-0 failed to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think
So,
we've definitely seen that before. I think who's like big ones that gone 8-0?
well, I remember last year us talking about the Cardinals being a super team.
Oh
We're
yeah,
talking about,
they went 8-0, didn't they?
yeah, D Hop, and Kyler Murray linking up, and all that team coming together, and they were unbeaten for a long period of time, but obviously didn't win in the end. There's
Didn't
another
get
stat
close.
here in favor of the Eagles. The Eagles are the 29th team in the Super Bowl era to start 8-0. 28 previous teams have made the playoffs, so they've got a massive chance.
Yeah, I think
15 have won
pretty
their
much 100%.
conference. Yeah, 15 won the conference and 8 have won the Super Bowl. So,
They got pretty good odds there.
hmm so what's that? 8 out of 29. What's that? Around 30%, something like that, I'd imagine.
I can't do maths in my head like that.
Just
I think
roughly.
you're asking too much of me there. 8 divided by 29 times by 100. 27.5%.
27. I was close.
We're very close, to be fair.
30%. Mad. So yeah,
You
that's the
can edit
chance.
it out, it's fine.
uh,
You're straight in, yeah. 27%, it's great.
yeah, we'll cut that out and just edit
Yeah,
it straight away.
no, exactly. It's 27.5%.
But yeah, they're good. They're looking good, man. They're looking really good. 8-0, so can't complain. Jalen Hurts, decent, very decent quarterback. Um, some other games from the week. The Vikings beat the Cardinals. Kirk Cousins, man, he's got some wheels. Did you see him run for that 20-yard touchdown?
It just looks wrong. He shouldn't be running like that. It's
Mate,
just,
there's like the head coach, what's his name? Kevin O'Connell was mic'd up this week, and
hmm.
I saw the video on Twitter, and he was watching Kirk run for the ball, and he after he scored a touchdown, he goes, "What the fuck just happened?"
Yeah, honestly, I think that most of the league was doing that. Most of people watching were doing that. It just, I think that's probably why. Also, one of the reasons he scored because the defense is just like, where is he going?
Literally.
Is he actually doing this? Okay. I mean, fair play to him, and they got the win somehow. Obviously in October,
Kirk's over, mate. He's rolling on, mate. Kirk Bember now. It's Kirk.
November. It's going to be his downfall. And
Um,
he see his stats for November.
to be fair, his stats from October aren't great, but he's just got four. He got 4 wins out of 4, so I
Yeah,
take it. The Pats, mate. Pats beat the Jets. Good win. Go on,
good
the
win.
Pats.
Very good win. I mean, the Jets were awful, like
Yeah, sure.
actually awful. Yeah. Um, I don't think their quarterback did anything right, particularly. Um, and it was one of those kind of classic Patriots games where they score quite a few field goals. They kind of work their way into it and score a couple of touchdowns and just happen to win. It wasn't that exciting, but a win's a win. So
A win is a win, mate. A win is a
tough.
win. I think the Jets are really struggling without their running back. What's his name? Brees Hall. He tore
Yeah,
his ACL, I think, last week. He was their rookie, and he's been really, really good for them this year.
yeah.
Um, Mate, Broncos country, let's rise. They got a win, man, in London. We've been giving him so much shit recently, and they got the win.
But it's still so cringy. Him in the middle of the field, kind of just with his arms outstretched, just turning around slowly, just for all the cameras. It's just hard to watch.
Mate, and he's
Hard to
wearing
watch,
Liverpool cleats, man. Can this guy get any worse? Like, what is
honestly.
going on?
I think the day that he announced that he was like a part owner of Liverpool, he did a video, didn't he? And then they lost to Leeds, literally like the same
Yeah,
day.
yeah,
So yeah, it's still cringy. Fair play getting the win, but
yeah. Fair play to him, man.
too
Fair play,
cringy.
mate. That rehab worked for him, mate. Do
Did
if you do that more often.
yeah,
um, the Bucks. Better talk about the Bucks. They fall to 3-5. First time in Brady's career, mate. He's two
yeah.
games below 500. He's 3-5, first time, and it don't get any easier for him, mate. I think he's got the Rams at the weekend. They're in a bit of a bad spot as well, but
I
it's
say yeah.
tough, tough, tough
I can
matchup.
see who can do best in a bad situation there. Um, yeah, the Bucks are just looking out of sorts. Can't get their offense going, can't get their defense going. Um, it seems like Tom Brady may have done a year too much.
Yeah, it's.
Everyone seems a bit out of place there at the moment. So
I think though. I think he's 163 yards away from 10,000 passing yards,
ten
which is the
thousand,
most 10,000, which I think is the most ever.
10,000.
10,000, or is it more than
You're
that?
going to stick with 10,000 there.
100,000?
But how many? How many did he throw last year?
Okay, 100,000.
He threw 5,000 yards last year. I don't think he's only played 2 years.
That's very true, man. Very true. But yeah, Bucks, can they get themselves out of a bit of a sticky situation against the Rams? We'll just see. We'll move on to a couple of informed teams in the NFL as well. The Titans, they beat the Texans last week. Derrick Henry, mate, back to Derrick Henry. Back to his best, really. 219 yards, man.
Mm.
Machine, man. He's in a bowling ball.
First time I've seen him this season kind of do what he does best.
Break out in a big run, yeah. 5 wins in a row for them as well. Can they go on a bit of a run? Because he had this stretch, didn't he, Derrick Henry last year, and then he got that toe injury, was he out? And then he was out for quite a long period of time.
Mm.
But that's the problem. If you're just going to keep giving it to him, that's their
On
offering.
that risk, yeah.
So it is a risk. It is a risk. And also, Geno Smith does it again. Beats the Giants 27-13. They're now 5-3.
Mate,
What a
Geno
hero.
Smith is doing bits. I
What a
think
guy. What a guy.
it's quite nice to watch, to be honest.
It is.
Um, I think it's just he's been in the league for so long, not really living up to his potential. I think it's nice to see him actually doing it, and he must be so relieved that he's given that opportunity after his career kind of skipping from team to team. So
Yeah,
it's good to watch. And he's a nicer person than I prefer him to Russell Wilson. So
yeah, definitely, 100%. Um, before we move on from NFL, have you seen the news, mate? Jay-Z and Jeff Bezos might buy the Commanders.
yeah, what's that about? I mean, why?
I don't know. Then you got Robert Griffin III saying that he's gonna buy a stake or something, or wants to buy them as well. And he's going to take some fans along the ride or something like that. What is going on?
Are these guys all right? I mean, I know probably the Washington Commanders are probably the easiest to buy at the moment because they're in a shit show, obviously money wise. Um, yeah, weird.
Very
Um,
weird.
I think we're getting to that point of having like team owners being kind of not so much people we don't know, but more in the public eye.
Yeah, definitely.
So like I'm waiting for paying money to own a team
Mate,
because
it's
that'd be
got to be done. It's
um
Tom Brady as well. I was looking at it as well, wasn't he?
exactly so. But Jeff Bezos, I'm not sure that's the if that's the right way about it to be honest.
I mean, you're
But
going to get a lot of investment. That's for sure. The guy's
exactly,
minty. Did you hear about the Pat McAfee show this week?
no.
Apparently, the NFL got in touch and said they couldn't use the NFL highlights on their show, and they couldn't like it was something to do with the logos.
Oh, so they couldn't use the logos, but because they paid like 4 million to be able to
Yeah,
use the highlights, I
yeah, they
think.
pay a lot of money, and apparently the
And they
NFL
got,
said you can't use the logos or the highlight footage or something
which is
like that.
ridiculous.
And then Pat McAfee, obviously being Pat McAfee, went off and was like, okay, we're not allowed to use it. So they weren't allowed to mention the NFL. So they called it something else. Can't remember the exact like they called it the league something else.
Yeah.
And anyway, I think it was today or yesterday that they got the call to say that they are now allowed to use it, and they had like a big celebration. Then we're back on terms with the NFL and stuff like this. So
Jesus.
it's very Pat McAfee. So
Oh yeah.
if you like the bloke, then check that out. There's quite a couple
Oh
of
yeah.
funny clips on Twitter. Um, Cricket, mate. T20 World Cup must win game for England tomorrow morning.
Yep. You have to win it. There's no ifs or buts.
No
Have
ifs
to
or
win it to go
buts.
through.
England face Sri Lanka tomorrow. The group is very tight. New Zealand won. Australia won just today as well. So because Afghanistan, it was so close between Afghanistan and Australia, net run rate tomorrow isn't a factor. England just have to win. If
Yeah.
they win by one run, that's fine. They're in. They're in the dance. They're in the semi-finals. Um, but Sri Lanka in no easy feat, so it'll be a
No,
game.
it'd be interesting. I think England definitely have the team to win. But again, it's T20. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen, man.
It is again England, so
This
it's
tournament's proved me so wrong, mate, honestly. Like there was you saying anyone can be anyone at the start with Namibia, and
literally
it's true. It's true. I watched England's game against New Zealand. Did you watch any of that?
no.
No, it was a really, really close game. That was a must-win for England as well. And Josh Butler went on a tear. I think he got 70 odd runs off 47 balls, I think it was. And Sam Curran looks pretty decent as well.
Even
Um,
win by like 30 runs or something.
I think it's 20. I think it was 20 in the end. 20 runs in the end. New Zealand put up a good fight. But it's been difficult with the whole rain situation. England had a game called off against Australia, and then the Duckworth Lewis method against Ireland. So his group's not been as easy as it probably should have been.
No, and to be fair, I think with our loss to Ireland, the rain has helped us. Um, and I think the games that Australia haven't been able to play, I think it has worked into our benefit because
Mm,
we managed to get a win early on, a big win, um, and get a good run rate. And Australia got hammered by New Zealand.
they did. Then
And
their run
then
rate's bad, isn't it? That's shocking.
yeah, and then to be fair, that game between England and Australia, if that had gone ahead, that would have been like the most deciding game of this tournament so
Mm,
far.
very true.
So it's annoying that that won't happen and didn't happen, but we are in a good position and we should make it.
We should beat Sri Lanka. That's right. Um, New Zealand, oh sorry, Australia. They played Afghanistan earlier, and I don't know if you saw David Warner. I mean,
It did.
he's a bit of polar, he's a bit of a polar figure anyway. You either love him or you hate him, and he tried to do the most ridiculous shot I've ever seen at the T20 tournament this year. He went, he's left-handed, so he went right-handed stance and tried to do look like a cover drive, but got it
It should look
completely
like
wrong.
cover drive. I was like, if you're gonna do a switch hit, surely you got to like smash it. And I don't understand. He like did a weird cover drive, but left the biggest gap between his bat and his body. And obviously it looked like he wasn't able to bat right-handed, and that's because he can't bat right-handed because he's left-handed. It was ridiculous to watch, and you just have to laugh at it because why would
Couldn't
that
have
ever
happened to a nicer bloke, could it, Sam? Couldn't
happen?
have nice bloke. But yeah, it was pretty hilarious. Watch it on Twitter if you haven't already. Got clean bowled. It was pretty funny. Yeah, and also in the other group, mate. Other group. I don't know if you've seen Pakistan are in trouble, man. Pakistan are in the
Mm.
mud. It's out of their hands now. So India are top of their group on 6 points, South Africa on 5, Pakistan on 4. So Pakistan are hoping for a South Africa or India loss. They're all playing different teams, I believe. So Pakistan aren't playing any of the top two, and vice versa. So it's all going to go down to the wire in that group as well. Pakistan, we bigged them up at the start. They're hoping for a bit of a slip up. So
I mean, South Africa have kind of been a dark horse in this competition.
they've
Nobody's really
surprised
talking
me.
about them.
Yeah, they've really
Nobody's really
surprised me.
talking about them at all. And they beat India by
Yes.
beat them quite well as well. So yeah, I think they're definitely a dark horse. I think they will get through. And it'd be nice to see them in a semi-final because we haven't really seen South Africa up there in cricket for a little bit.
It's nice to see as well that like there's apart from Afghanistan, I believe that every team's won a game. I think uh,
Yeah.
so. It's quite nice to see how competitive it's been.
And
Um,
to be fair, and to be fair, Afghanistan haven't been out of it by any
no,
means.
they've been close. They've been close.
They've been unlucky to lose some of their matches, and to be fair, I think Afghanistan are like one of the best T20 teams in the world. Yeah, so I'm quite surprised they've not done very well.
Mhm. Yeah,
Again, the conditions in Australia haven't been very
no,
helpful.
favourable. No, not at all. Um, Move on to F1. Mexico Grand Prix last weekend. It was a dead race, man. Did you watch any of it? Did you watch keep up with
I
it?
watched the end of it.
Yeah, which is probably the
Um,
most exciting part, to be fair. But
yeah.
everyone was saying in Mexico that you're going to get action into turn one because it's such a long straight,
Hmm.
um, and then it all kicks off in the first corner. It didn't. Um, Everyone was predicting that the strategy that Mercedes went. They put Hamilton on the hard tires, and Red Bull kept Max on the mediums, and everyone thought that Max's mediums were just going to give up and Hamilton might have a chance towards the end, and they just didn't. Like,
No, I think they got Max to manage his tires, and he managed the fuck out of those tires.
bro,
Have you
mate,
seen with the lap times?
the lap times, yeah, from the WTF1 podcast, they said that the team asked him to do 120, 122 laps
Yeah,
with the medium tires, and mate, he did that from lap 27 to 71. He did
yeah,
the
till the end of the
same
race.
lap time.
Except from those two safety cars, he did 122 the whole way. How do you do that? Like, how do you do that within your mind? Like, yeah, I'm going to do 122 now. Like, I don't have no control over that. How's that?
Just ballistic, like, and
It's
to manage them so that he doesn't, destroy his tires and there's no degradation or whatever. Is mental, absolutely mental. I mean, in that race, Danny Rick was the only one providing any sort of entertainment.
literally it was the best race like of the whole year.
Oh mate, I loved it. Me and Dash were in bits at him. So they put him on the soft tire. They put him on, a strategy which suits him flipping out for once. Well done, McLaren.
Yeah,
Out of the
literally.
two, Lando's always the one that goes on the softs, and Danny Rick's poor bless him, he's on the hard tire, struggling, but they put him on the softs, and he went on a tear, mate. He apart from taking out Sonoda, he got a 5 second penalty for that, but he made up for it because he grafted away and got seventh spot. Did Did you see him do the old little gun pistol
Yeah,
thing?
yeah. He's
And
like,
shoot it
I've
down
got you.
someone.
And he
Yeah.
takes him out straight away. That was great. Yeah, it's nice to see him back there. I saw a tweet that he's back in F1
Well,
as is he a third driver?
yeah. Apparently, he's going to be a reserve driver for Mercedes. It's not been confirmed, but
Yeah,
apparently, he's
okay.
going to be a reserve driver for Mercedes. Which, you know, fair play as Mercedes, but
Yeah.
I don't unless Hamilton's going to retire next year. Like,
Yeah,
how?
but even if Hamilton retires, are they going to just promote Danny Rick? Probably not.
No, I don't know. It's
Um, so yeah, I don't. It's an interesting move. I mean, fair play to him. He gets to sit in a McLaren for however long. It's probably one of the best cars. He's probably one of the better cars he's going to be in.
yeah, yeah.
Probably the best he could hope now, with most teams having uh, given having most of their driver lineups confirmed from the best teams anyway. So it's probably the best he could have hoped for. Um, I never know, like if George Russell doesn't work out, like if he starts just killing people rather than just booting them off the track, then possibly they'll give him a chance. But yeah, we'll see. We know he's good. He proved that again this weekend, and it was good to see. And hopefully, it gives him a bit more confidence that
Yeah,
he can
definitely,
push through.
definitely. Everyone loves Danny Rick, don't they?
Yeah.
So they're doing some promo for F1 Las Vegas at the
Oh
minute.
yeah.
Mate, if you see them, they're just bombing it through through the
Yeah.
casino.
Through a casino. Looks like GTA.
What is going on there?
How is that promoting it? I don't understand. Surely that's just bad for the environment, or if the middle of a casino to have an F1 car rip through it.
I don't know. It's
But
quite.
yeah, each to their own, I suppose.
What are your thoughts on the last bit of F1 chat? What are your thoughts on um, the tire blanket situation? They're planning to reduce the temperature of the tire blankets. Um, going into next season and the following season, to reduce their energy efficiency.
Yeah,
But drivers are coming out and saying that, if you're decreasing the temperature of the tire blankets and eventually planning to get rid of them, that's really dangerous because they're basically on ice skates. Um,
yeah.
what do you think about the old tire blanket situation? Like, it's
I think
difficult.
it's difficult. It is difficult. Like I say, the safety issue is that cold tires they're gonna have to warm them up. They're a bit more unpredictable, and in some ways, when they used to not have tire blankets, the unpredictability from that is what made it fun. But as many things, that safety now kind of has to take over. I
Definitely.
feel like reducing it fine, but getting rid of it is probably a bit too far.
Mm,
Um, because at least if they have it on a bit, even if it's a lower temperature, it's still going to be warmer than it would be without it, and they still have a better chance of having grip straight away. So I think that's a too difficult question for either one of us to kind of answer.
yeah, we're not
In
F1
terms of,
tech heads. Eh?
yeah, or like the driver knows. I think in that sense, the driver should probably know best there.
Yeah.
And if they're not confident going out on cold tires, they shouldn't really have to.
I mean, in the end, like I know there's an energy and sort of an environmental factor to this, but if there's more crashes and more incidents, in the end, that's gonna ultimately enhance energy usage in terms of building cars, making more parts.
Exactly.
It's a fine balance there. But it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of years and whether they're planning. I reckon they will do a U-turn on completely scrapping the
It's
tire
going to have
bank.
to be a vote, I think. So it's going to go down, going to go down to something. So fingers crossed, something better comes out of that. They
Yeah.
can reduce energy somewhere else because I think that's probably a more dangerous way of reducing energy.
hmm Um, to finish the podcast, we'll touch on a new sport. I don't know if you've been keeping up on the old baseball, but it's the World Series right now.
Well, I've been keeping up with the
You
baseball.
have been keeping up the baseball. It's the World
The,
Series.
the LA Dodgers fucked it.
Yeah, they did indeed,
I
mate.
think they were the best team in the league, and then they fucked it in the playoffs. Most teams that did well in the league, so the Yankees also fucked it.
Yeah, mate, the Yankees.
Um, I think the only teams that haven't really fucked it is the Astros, who seem to be on top quite often, although I think everyone hates them. There's a mutual hatred for the Astros for their two cheating scandals.
I've got to hold my hands up here. I don't know nothing. I'm
So
just
in the last few years, the Houston Astros were accused of cheating, accused and they weren't just accused, they were like proved to be cheating.
oh dear.
So stealing signs illegally. So normally you steal signs like the catcher behind the batter will make some signs to the pitcher to throw a certain pitch. And normally like the batter at second base can sometimes see and do it that way. But they literally had like electronic buzzers going off to tell them what pitch was coming. They won a World Series out of it.
Wow.
And
Okay,
I
so this is
think,
a big scandal.
yeah, massive. And then the league basically um, said to the players, if you come out and say you did this, we'll give you immunity. But obviously, the players are like, well, that sounds great. So most of the players were like, yeah, we did this, but they still get to keep their rings.
That is
Don't
mad.
get nothing happens to them. They're pretty much all still playing. Or every single other player in the whole league was fuming. They still to this day get basically booed most places they go. They get pitchers throw the balls at their heads, like Jose Altuve gets his ball thrown at his head constantly. Um, but they somehow
Bouncing off his
managed to get to
noggin,
the World
like.
Series again. So they're in the World Series and nobody's rooting for them. But they've somehow turned around. So the Phillies were winning 2-1 and they
Mm.
turned around to be winning 3-2. So I just hope that the Phillies can turn that around again.
I just saw the Phillies got slapped.
Yeah.
Not last game. Not was it last night? I think it was the game before. I think it was like 5-0, 5-0. I don't even think they got a first base or whatever. Like it's just mental.
No,
Um,
so it was a. So I'm hoping they can turn it around because they've got a. Is it Bryce Harper, their kind of MVP candidate? Um, just slapping the ball around, getting home runs, hit right, left, and centre. But yeah, I hope they can turn it around.
so it's out of seven, isn't it? So it's out of seven, and the Astros are 3-2 up.
Yeah,
So technically, if the Astros win this next game, that's it. It's finito. It's done.
yeah,
It's done out here.
World Series is done. It'll be sad.
Interesting, man. Very interesting. But yeah, it's nice to keep up with another sport. To be fair, I just seen it.
Also, this week it's the Billie Jean King Cup.
Oh yeah, go on then. The bit.
It's the kind of the women's equivalent of the Davis Cup.
Mm-hmm.
It's the
Yeah.
international teams playing against each other,
Is it
and
in
they're
Glasgow?
playing. It is up here in Glasgow.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, yeah. Go on then.
Me and Georgie are going to the final on Sunday.
Oh yeah.
We managed to quite it. So for like NHS staff, there is like a what's it called? Not a raffle, but it's kind of like I can't remember what it's called. Like a sweepstake in a way, but you put
Mhm.
your name in to get tickets. And George won, so we managed to get two tickets
That's
for like
sick.
£4.50.
Bargain, mate.
It's an absolute bargain. Yeah, and it's here in Glasgow, going to the final on Sunday. An
Get
absolute
some footage for the pod, mate. Get some footage.
Exactly. So absolutely buzzing. Haven't watched live tennis in I don't remember. I think Wimbledon nearly like 10 years ago.
So Emma Raducanu's out of it, isn't she? Through injury. She?
She out. I don't even know. I need to find out. I knew
True,
she was
true
like
tennis fan over
exactly yeah. I saw she was I think fighting to be fit, but
oh, maybe,
I
maybe.
didn't realize she couldn't be in it. It says her injury is under control.
Hmm.
So who knows?
Might see a Grand Slam winner then, mate. There you go.
Well, hopefully they can get to the final.
Yeah,
Um,
hopefully so. Hopefully so.
because I think it's this week, running up to Sunday. So Sunday's just the final.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but fingers crossed she's in it.
Mate, that's wicked. That is actually wicked.
I'm actually buzzing.
Any heroes or shockers of the week? Hero or shocker of the week?
Uh, Hero of the week. I think this week, hero. Um, I don't know. Jesse
No?
Marsh.
Jesse Marsh. Pluck that out of nowhere.
I don't know where that came from. But Jesse Marsh. That's because he beat Liverpool when he really, really shouldn't have.
That's very true, mate. Very true. I've got Miles Garrett. Did you see his Halloween outfit? It was
Oh,
sick,
he was
mate.
Vecna, wasn't he?
He turned up as Vecna, mate. It was cold, man. It was so sick.
That's a
I
bit
don't
weird.
know
Although
how much. It was just sick.
all the way good turning up to a game in like Vecna costume, but must have taken like an hour to take that off.
It
I
looks
mean,
so.
come on.
It didn't look like something you could just go take off.
No,
It
exactly.
looked like it was sort of like molded to his
Yeah,
face.
unless he should have just played like it. That would have been terrifying. Can you imagine?
Yeah, can you imagine? And he looked massive as well. He actually looked like Vecna. Like he was
Yeah.
insane. Um, but yeah. Any shockers this week? Anyone that's had a stinker?
Um,
I've got one, and I think
Very
you'll like
proper.
this one. Um, I don't know if you've seen, but Mason Mount when he went to the Black
Oh, he
Panther
went to the
movie,
premiere, didn't he?
the memes are flying of his outfit choice. His outfit choice is very questionable. People saying that it's like when you join secondary school and your mum says to get a bigger size blazer because you'll grow into it. Oh mate, it's
It is,
horrendous. It's
it
like a
is bad.
brown suit and brown trousers, boxy, absolutely well oversized. Mason, I love you, mate, but that weren't it. So
That's not the one. That's not the one, mate.
that
You can do
weren't it.
better. You can do better.
Um, Also, Tyson Fury had a bit of a shocker. Did you see him on the True Geordie podcast?
Yeah, he was fuming.
Just kicked right off.
Yeah, I mean, no real reason. I mean, the True Geordie was like just still having a joke while he was kicking off. He was
Hmm.
still making jokes. And yeah, it seemed a bit weird. I think it was difficult to watch in a way because
It was
saying things to George True Geordie that were quite not nice. And for a guy who's such a stickler for
advocate, yeah.
mental health, it was a bit weird to watch.
Bit
Because I don't
hypocritical.
think True Geordie did anything wrong.
No, no. I mean, he probably, he asked the question that we're all thinking. Let's be real. He asked the
Yeah,
question. You're fighting Derek Chisora, who doesn't really deserve to be fighting you.
yeah,
You're way better than him. You're going to outclass him.
yeah.
You know, I probably understand that Fury's, you know, got this a lot in press conferences as well. But that's the fight he took. So yeah, he has to be prepared to answer those questions.
Exactly, and he's got to expect that if he does different interviews, most interviews are going to ask similar questions.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
way the world works.
So, but yeah,
I
shockers,
think that's a shocker, definitely.
shocker. All right. I think that wraps up the pod. I don't think we'll be recording next week. I think we're pretty busy. I might be seeing Kendrick. Well, I am seeing Kendrick.
Might be some
Might
Kendrick,
be. I've got the tickets, so I am seeing Kendrick in London.
whether
Um,
he likes it or not.
yeah, whether I like it or not. But yeah, so we shall be back probably the week after. We might be doing a little World Cup special with the Corridor of Insanity lads. So
Yeah.
that's something to look forward to. But yeah, enjoy the weekend of sport, and we'll catch you again next time in a bit.
See you.